Let us go. As spawning in the bottom right hand corner of Title Citadel, we have the Canadian Protoss player. We have the red Protoss representing Basilisk. It is Trigger. And spawning in the top left hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the South Korean Terran player. We have the blue Terran. It is Percival. And if you're in the chat, you know what time it is. It is Gambit time. Predictions are open. Place your bets on who you think will claim the series. Best of luck in the chat as we get into our best of 5 grand finals PvT. Now, coming into this, Percival did defeat Classic, and Classic, he is the highest rated player in the tournaments. So Percival did take down the favorite player to win the event. That is true. But at the same time, Trigger, he is also one of the best Protoss players in the world. He is the best in NA and one of the top Protoss players out there. So I will say that he has good standing. I would say he's actually very close in skill with Percival, closer than Classic is, and we might even see a back and forth. That's what I want to see. I want to see a game 4. I want to see a game 5. Regardless of how this turns out, I want to see that back and forth, regardless of who wins. Not a 3-0, but we'll see. We'll see. The pressure is on. And again, best of luck in the chat with your predictions. Best of luck. Not an easy one to predict. As a reminder, I believe Trigger, didn't he beat Percival at SC for All, if I'm not mistaken? Let me just double check. And it was actually a bit of a more one-sided series, if I recall correctly as well. It was a best of 7. Let's see here. Yep, best of 7. Trigger, he did defeat Percival 4-2. 4-2 in the finals of that LAN event. But I should also remind you that that was quite some time ago, right? That was quite some time ago. That was in the previous map pool. That was with a more unique map pool, I should say, in the previous patch. That was back in early November. So different era, different map pool, different patch. Different strengths, different weaknesses. But a Trigger does have that win over Percival. True, true. That best of 7. So now we are going to be opening up. Again, double gas opener out of Percival, faster factory, delayed CC. Opening up initially here with Reaper Hellion, no early add-on. Not yet. That's big enough, does get a probe. Gets a probe, pulls away. And where are you taking us here? Okay, going for the reactor on the racks. From here we can add-on swap, or otherwise we could commit into further tech. Starting off with a mine drop. Okay. Starts off with the mine drop. Once again, Percival, he's building up his army. He's going for the dive. And can he get some more probe kills? He gets 1. Gets at least 1. Boys being pulled away. A chaotic defense here by Trigger. To lose 2. 2 probe kills. A very nice force. Oh my god. Very nice force field. Locks down the Reaper clip and takes down both Reapers. Nice defense there by Trigger. He holds on, he defends, and he goes back to mining. So 2 probes with 2 Reapers. I would say a better trade for Trigger. Better defense. And Trigger's playing it safe. He's playing it safe here. Robo's on the way. Second gateway as well. Staying on 2 bases a little bit longer. You know, here it comes out with a mine drop. Drop does boost across the map. As Percival does make his way in. Slipping into the main base. Oh, wouldn't mind Zoop over. Trigger, he does pull away in time. And he even hallucinates to bait out those shots. Not bad. Does hallucinate. Snipes 1 with a mine, but Percival does at least survive with the medevac. Oh, he actually goes back in. Yeah, a little bit greedy there. Percival goes back in. He does not get any value, though. The Watermine does go down. Hellion into the natural, and he'll get a couple of volleys off. He might actually get 1 probe. Not even. Probe pulls away. Trigger defense. No dead workers here. Clean defense by Trigger, both in the main base and in the natural. Doesn't lose any probes. But at least Percival escapes with the medevac. True. Medevac does survive. So at least he gets away, but again, this was a better defense from Trigger. Behind this, going for the Bay, going for Colossus. Nice, getting into his third as well. Was a 2-gate blink into a third base. And Trigger is getting to the mid game, not in a bad position either. Trigger is holding his own. Meanwhile, Marine drop across the map. Oh. Trigger, his main armies across the map actually trying to contain. Back at home, there is going to be a shield battery at least. Can buy some time. There's no recall into the base though. And Percival slips in. He does slip in. Late reaction, late response. Probes are going to go down. Massive damage. Getting 4 or 5 dead workers. Getting up to 6. 6 probes and pulls away. So nice backstab to Percival again. Trigger, he had a late reaction, had a late pull out. So shaky defense. And again, very necessary damage here by Percival, considering how lackluster the Widowmine drop was. So we have a back and forth. Have that back and forth. Behind this, Percival does expand. Trigger scouts. He's aware of the CC, so we're building up into the mid game. Trigger looking for the medevac. Looking for it, so plenty of space here in the corner of the map. I'll survive. Oh, going across the map with the Colossus. Okay. Bold move. I mean, he can nibble away at the push. True. I mean, I say nibble. It's a big nibble back. The Colossus. He's crazy. So Colossus moves out. Percival likewise doing the same. Okay, Percival, he does respond. He has some reinforcements back at home, but he doesn't turn around with the main army. Colossus turns around. Okay. It's curious. There's a recall back home. Trigger, he identifies that the army is coming his way. Races back. Zones away the drop. But he doesn't slow down the push. Oof. Doesn't slow it down. Tanks are moving in. Can they get within range? Tanks are late to siege. Yeah, very late to siege up. Mine shots going up. Pro tanks go down. And Trigger, he holds. Yeah, he does hold. Does shut down the push. Again, that was a brutal moment there for Percival. He was late to siege up. He was caught out with his pants down. And now Trigger has momentum. He has momentum. Defense back at home. The third base is exposed. Percival, can he hold on? That's a lot of Widowmines. And shots going up. Forcing a bit of friendly fire. And Colossus juggles in. Prism is going to go down. Nice pick up. Takes on the Prism, and Percival, can he make a stand here? The Colossus, though, still just getting so much more damage on the army. Peeking with the Marines, also wreaking havoc in the middle line. 11 SCVs go down. Gets 11 workers, and again, if the War Prism was here, Trigger could just go for the kill. But again, War Prints are late. Reinforcements are delayed. Nice time for the Raven. Raven goes down. Trigger, he commits in, getting as much damage as he can. The Colossus will eventually fall. But he gets so much damage. And now we have another Colossus. Yeah, second Colossus rallies in. And it looks like Trigger, he has too much. He has too much. He has broken the third base, has broken the main army. Percival, he cannot defend. The CC may even just go down. GG gets called as the CC falls, and Trigger takes game number 1. GG. Whew, GG, well played. Again, Percival had a very rough fight. Honestly, the early to mid game, they were going back and forth. There were some nice moments for Trigger, nice moments for Percival. Percival, he got 6 probe kills across the map. Trigger, he defended well against the Widowmine drop, so he had that back and forth. But Percival, he committed across the map with his main army, and he got caught unsieged. That was the moments that all the momentum swung heavily in favor of Trigger. Just a really rough fight there, a really rough fight for Percival. did take a loss, and again, he was just racing back home to defend. Trigger, he knew that he had momentum, he just committed across the map, may have lost his War Prism, but barely had enough to keep pushing, and did eventually break Percival. GG. GG, well played with that. Oh, there we go, sorry. I don't think predictions opened properly, my bad, my bad. With that, GG well played. With that, Trigger does take lead in the series, and I will double check the predictions. Yeah, my apologies. There we go, my apologies. But if you're in the chat, predictions are now open, and place your bets on who you think will win the series, as predictions are open. But again, unfortunately I didn't open them at the start of the series, so my apologies. But there we go. Spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of White Rabbits, we have the Canadian Protoss player, we have the Red Protoss leading the series 1-0. But again, it's a best of 5, and we have potential to have a longer back and forth. That's what I want, at least. It is a Trigger. And spawning in the top right-hand corner, we have his opponent, we have the South Korean Terran player. We have the Blue Terran down in the series. We'll see if he can bounce back and make a series out of this. It is Percival. Here we go. Let's load into game 2. Well, no, yes. Here's 1-0. We just casted game 1. Just casted it. Game 1 was on title. And looks like we're going for a single gas opener, ranks expand, economy start out of Percival. We see Trigger being as annoying as possible. But yes, the score out of game was incorrect previously, so it did fix that up. Ooh, as a bit of miscontrol there by Trigger, the probe does get sniped. Did delay the CC, but not quite worth losing a worker. From here, welcome one and all to White Rabbits. White Rabbit is one of the larger maps in the map pool. Larger map, longer rushes and spy ground, and this does favor longer macro play. But we'll keep an eye on our players. Keep an eye on them. There's a much higher chance that Percival's going to build up to the mid game, but we'll see if he is a little bit more tame in his mid game aggression. Not the first time we've seen Percival move out and be punished for it. We saw the same thing with Classic in his series versus Classic as well. Did see something similar. But let's go. But now, Twilight Council open out a Trigger. It is still viable to go Stargate, and we do see Stargate play to players like Max Pax and Hero and Classic. But Trigger, he isn't really one to deviate too much. We should just be seeing more standard play out of Trigger. So now he's setting up. I see in the YouTube chat. Not quite recently, you mentioned that Classic has been quote unquote nerfed by the current map pool, which doesn't support his playstyle. But could it be that other players are figuring him out? Not maybe, kind of. I would say maybe like if I would be generous there, I'd say that like both might be factoring in. As I mentioned before, and it's applicable even here as well. There's a lot of maps that are very open at certain bases, and aggression is more favored. I'll say that this is a map, for example, where you can build up in towards the mid to late game a little bit more freely. There are maps like that, maps like Title Citadel as well. But in general, I would say that aggression is favored in this patch, more so than last patch. And it can be difficult to slow things down and to tech up. So I would say that's why Classic has been struggling a little bit more as of late. So I would say the Protoss players are still adapting to the patch itself. For example, if we were playing on the previous map pool in the previous patch, I would say that Classic, his strength would still be there. I would not say that like players are like figuring him out and would punish him in that map pool and in that patch. I would say the Classic will still continue to have success there. Oh. So far, nice damage to the natural. Hellions, they bust their way in. Ooh, probes are going down. Again, 3 Hellions, they one-shot workers even. I mean, there's no shield battery. 8, 9 probe kills. Ay. Brutal damage early on. Again, the drop was really mainly a distraction, and the Hellions, they dealt critical damage here at the natural, and Trigger is going for the counterattack. He has to. Blink is done. Trigger moves out, and we'll see what he can get done here back at home. We have a bunker. We have bunker at the natural. Tanks in the main. Percival, he is set up. And Trigger, he gets 2 SCVs. He gets 2 SCVs, but doesn't get much more than that. Only 2 SCVs, still trying to apply some pressure. Behind this Trigger, he's taking up in towards +1, charge, in towards Colossus production. But Trigger has had a very shaky start here to game 2. Very shaky. Now, Percival is not following this up with an all-in. We do have a 3rd TC. 3rd TC is on the way. So we are trying to build up. Now, once again, we did mention that White Rabbit is one of the larger maps of the map pool, so this is going to favor Trigger when it comes to trying to stabilize. But the reality is that Percival does have momentum. He's going for his double drop. The Observer does not spot the move out. As Percival does sit past. And Trigger is unawares. Back at home, he hopefully should have a Warpin available at least. Here comes the main push. Observer gets spotted. Trigger gets distracted. A drop comes in. He's going for the main. Going for the Artosis pylon even. Uh-oh. Going for the main base. Colossus is back at home. Trigger, he should hold his own here. Oh, not enough support. Not enough support. The Colossus is exposed. He's going for it. Oh, that picks up. Main arm is pushing forward. And this could be a rough defense here for Trigger. Again, he lost so many probes earlier. That's why he has so much less to defend. Tank does siege on the high ground, and Trigger is just owned away. He's just cut off from his own bases. Diving on the Colossus. Shout out to the shield battery. Oh my god. The shield battery holds on. The battery saves the Colossus. Tanks are exposed. Reinforcements are too late. And Trigger, can he hold? Can he survive? He is. He's holding on, Bobby. Oh my god. Yeah, the MVP shield battery. Jesus, as he does hold on, does survive. Saves both Colossus. Percival going to be forced back. And that lead, that momentum that Percival he once had, not quite there anymore. That was meant to kill, by the way. That was meant to kill. I would also say this is where the map comes into play, where reinforcements were delayed just because of the size of the map. That also did help Trigger. Again, Dods barely holds on, getting his 4th base up and running. Trigger, he is stabilizing. He's recovering. Let's go. And the game will continue. From here, Percival is taking up. We have the Ghost Academy on the way, building with a Ghost, building up into Vikings. Trigger getting his 5th base, double expanding. Getting his 4th and 5th base up and running. Now, when it comes to White Rabbits, one, it is a very large map, but it's also going to be a little bit more difficult here for Percival to expand and get his 4th base. It's not going to be an easy expansion to take. 3 bases will be fine, but we'll see if he expands towards Trigger or away from him. You can see Trigger is checking for bases. So I'll say fan out to the 4th locations. Checking for expansions. And so far there is none. And Trigger, he shouldn't move in until Percival expands. Once he tries to take a 4th base, then he's going to be spreading himself thin. Then there's going to be an opening. Yes, Trigger, he's maxed. Because he's maxed, he can start to move forward. He's got a massive amount of zealots here. 30 zealots, oh my god. Nice EMPs. EMPs do connect. Vikings, they got 1 Colossus already. Jesus. Yeah, dragging the army through the minefield. And can he hold his own? Zealots, they collapse on the Ghost. Ghosts are going down. A 0 goes left. Massive pickups. And Trigger, he's done it. He's done it. He has broken the army. Still got 1 Colossus remaining. More zealots have arrived. And Trigger just snowballs out of control. The Disruptor even coming in. Nova goes off. Oof, does connect. And GG gets called. Trigger, he will take a 2-0 lead. Whew, GG. Aye. GG, well played. Alas, unfortunately, no SimCity at the 3rd base, no SimCity outside in between the 3rd and natural either. So just a free road there, just free reign here for Trigger, just moving in between the bases. No, nothing to really stop him, nothing to stop the surrounds, and with that does overwhelm. And again, just a really impressive defense out of Trigger, winding it back. Trigger, he was in danger, he was in trouble. I'm referring to the first tank push from Percival. He was able to wedge himself in between the bases, he was distracting Trigger as well. He almost won the game then and there, but the shield battery saved the Colossus. The Warpins came in time. Trigger, he barely held on, and GG, well played. Trigger will take a 2-0 lead. And does Trigger just take the series here and now? I mean, he just may. One more game is all that Trigger needs here to take the series 3-0. I want to see it back and forth, but the pressure is on Percival. Let's go. Let's load into the Old Republic. Ooh, this is a very difficult map for Terran. So winding it back here, especially when it comes to, I mean, what we just saw, for example, on White Rabbit, the bases were spread out, and you saw that the bases were very open as well. Same thing is applicable here on the Old Republic as well. I would say that your 3-base setup is more secure on the Old Republic, but the 4th base is very open. We'll get into it. So this morning in the bottom left-hand corner of the Old Republic, we have the Canadian Protoss player. We have the red Protoss representing Basilisk. It is Trigger. And spawning in the top right-hand corner of the Old Republic, we have the blue Terran player. We have the South Korean Terran down heavily in the series. Can he bounce back? It is Percival. Here we go. Here we go as we are getting into our next game. And again, so far this has been a rough series for Percival. He's down 2-0. Can he bounce back? Now, very quickly here, welcome to the Old Republic. Coming into this, I would say that the 3-base setup here is more secure. What is the difference between the Old Republic and between White Rabbit? The 3-base setup is close together, so the 3rd base is closer to the natural. On top of that, we have a ramp here, a very narrow ramp that you can wall up and wall off and defend. Likewise, a ramp coming into the 3rd base as well, so a much easier to defend 3-base setup. But the 4th base is more out in the open, it's further away, and it is very exposed, whether it's the low ground 4th base or the linear 4th base. It is very difficult to defend. So if we end up in a similar scenario where Trigger has map control and Percival is turtling up back at home, I have to favor Trigger, specifically on the Old Republic. That's if that's the game state we end up in. Otherwise, we could see Percival be more aggressive earlier. We could see some 2-base play instead. We'll see. But again, we've seen many a player attempt and fail to defend the 4th on the Old Republic. Go. So now we are building up. As Percival, he's being a little bit cheeky here, so he does go for an economic start. He went for a Rax Expand, and he's opening up with Concussive Shell Marauders. Now, what is the goal here? Percival did go for an economic opener, and he's hoping that Trigger tries to punish him. He's hoping that Trigger responds with Adepts or Stalkers, and speaking of, Adept is rallying across the map, and Percival, he wants to try to catch the Adept. And gain momentum from there. Speaking of Trigger, he scouts, he does get out to the Marauders. Oh, he rallies in. Yeah, he still rallied in, and that's going to be one dead Adept. A miscontrol here by Trigger. Better start for Percival. Takes down the Adept. With that, Percival does gain map control. Behind this, going for a much faster second Rex. Percival being hyper aggressive, setting up for either a 2-1-1 or a 3-rack setup here. So hyper aggression out of Percival, as opposed to the previous games, late starport. Very, very late starport here. As yep, it is a 2-1-1. So there are two forms of 2-1-1. There's one variation which does lead into really fast stim into an early stim timing. Otherwise, another build that's been very popular is to go for a mass vanilla marine army, vanilla bio army, and support the army instead with Vikings and with Cyclones and with tanks, and just commit to a 2-base all-in. We just rally across the map. Clem has been very fond of it. Clem, Maru, all the Terrans have kind of sprinkled into their series. We have the answer, early stim. Okay. So we're rushing into early stim. Again, Starport was delayed for this. And this is going to be a very early, very strong stim timing. Ooh, as he picks off 2 Stalkers. Yeah, 2 Stalkers go down. A Trigger, he is struggling here early on. Boys are being pulled. Trigger getting desperate. And remember, this is the 1-2 punch. The Marauders, they do dominate the early game here, just bullying back Trigger, keeping him contained. Picking off Stalkers, Adepts, Probes as well. And then bam, 2-base all in. And Trigger, he has no vision. He has no vision, he has no scouting. Behind this, he's going for 2-gate blink into a Robo into a 3rd. Oh, greedy build out of Trigger, delaying his 3rd gateway. So fast 3rd base, late 3rd gateway. Trigger, he still doesn't know what's going on. You can see Percival here is on the high ground, hoping to catch the Stalkers. As stim is almost complete. How many tanks do we have? So far it's going to be 1, soon to be 2. Soon to be 2 tanks. And we're waiting for Percival to pull the trigger. Oh boy. Here's that second tank. Percival, he should be pushing soon. Yep, there's the Unsiege. Here comes the push. Here comes the move out. And again, this is going to hit like a trunk, a trigger. He has to slow this down, but unfortunately, he's still unaware of it. Now he does spot it for the first time. Spots a move out. Gets a Marine. Ooh, he trades a Marine for a Stalker. Better trade for Percival. Immortal has arrived. Doesn't quite get the Cyclone. There's your early siege. Oof. Task Force early siege. Trigger, he has to buy more time for warp-ins. Charge is halfway done. If he can buy enough time for charge, then he can hold. Oh, there's the first stim. Yes, stim is revealed. There is a shield battery. Nice snipe. Very nice snipe here by Trigger. The control. Picks up the Cyclone. Pylon goes down, depowers the shield battery, but charge is almost done. It's almost complete. We need a couple more seconds. 12 more seconds. 12 more. And with charge finishing, I believe Trigger should hold. How many Zealots? He blinks in. Oh, a brutal blink. Tries to spread out. The Zealots trickle in. And Trigger holds. Trigger, he does barely hold on here. Zealot legs just in time. Picks off all 3 tanks. And Percival, that was meant to kill. That was meant to kill Trigger. He was insanely committed here. Behind this does have a 3rd CC on the way. Does race back. Races back home. Oh my god. Jeez. At least he saves one of the tanks. And now Trigger, he can enjoy his third base. Double Forge behind this. Bay as well for Colossus production. The game will continue. Now, thankfully, Percival did get a third CC. So thankfully, he was able to expand behind this as well. But again, didn't get the damage he was hoping for. And we spoke about this in the beginning of this game. Old Republic, it is difficult to maintain a fourth base, and this is applicable to whoever's stuck at home. That's going to be Percival. So Percival's going to be stuck at home. Trigger, he has map control. Trigger, he's free to expand and get his fourth base, and eventually a fifth. The pressure's on the Terran. Pressure's on Percival. I do appreciate this being active, okay? It's being active. Does catch a Stalker. Nicely done. Every time I hear them howling, I think of Warcraft 3. It's nighttime. Ah. The camps have gone to bed. I don't think we've had an SC2 map that has a day-night cycle. I don't think that's happened. For now, Percival, though, again, he's being active. He has to apply some pressure. He cannot fight the main army head-on, but he could, you know, get some probes, get into a mineral line, pick up a pylon here and there, catch a stray Stalker. Speaking of... Oh, doesn't quite get it. And we're building up. Sensor towers, missile turrets, bunkers are being thrown down, depots. If you remember, this is what was missing in on White Rabbit in Game 2. The Sim City, the walls, as Percival was turtling up. And he's working towards that 4th CC. Speaking of, Trigger should have a 5th. Should be working towards his 5th base. Percival going for the low ground expansion. Bold move, but he does have tanks on the high ground. And when it comes to this base, you can engage from either side here. Has a much more open kind of engagement area. We'll see if Percival can maintain this 4th. Not going to be easy, but he's going for it. Let's go. The easiest way to defend your 4th base is to just fight for map control. Just fight for map control. Be as aggressive as possible. He's got 8 Vikings. Gets a Colossus. Oh, yeah, it does miss control. Doesn't save the Colossi. Lift up the Immortal instead. And that was a decent pickup out of Percival. But he's being bullied back, and we did mention it again, like he has to fight for map control as best he can. Making a stand at the 4th base is not going to be easy. There's going to be a planetary, but we are lacking depots, lacking bunkers. We're lacking that defensive setup. Trigger is maxed. And Trigger should be pushing soon. You can see that supply disparity, and it's only going to get smaller as time goes on, as Percival is building up his army. Oh. Prism is zoned away. And even if Trigger takes a bad fight, as long as it doesn't lose any gas units, it should be fine. Like, you just trade Zealots. Decent EMPs collapsing in, Colossus goes down. Takes down the Colossus, Zealots they peel off onto the high ground. They try to catch some reinforcements. Once again, we get some decent EMPs, and Trigger pulls away. And Trigger pulls away. Zealots they trade decently well. Trigger once again poking in. Does force a cancel. Committing a little bit harder, trying to get into the mineral line. Yeah, 15 SCV kills. Zealots they do get into the mineral line. No, SCVs are going down. Percival getting pulled apart. I think just really careful, very patient play here by Trigger. He did not just A move in, he pulled back in, was dancing with the army until he found an opening. Did lose all the Colossus, true. He lost 3 Colossi, lost 2 Immortals, bled out a little Stalkers throughout the course of this game. Trigger, he might be sticking around a little bit too long. Gets a Marauder, gets 2. Picks off 3 Marauders, better pickoffs here by Trigger. Pushing towards the 3rd. And we'll bring down the bunker. Bunker goes down. And again, Trigger has no intention of breaking the base itself, but just getting some damage, pulling away, slowly building up those Zealots, reinforcing with the Colossus. Building up that main army before he can collapse on the planetary. As Trigger's getting a 6th. Getting a 6th base. Now Trigger, he pulls away. Oh, Prism goes down. The Vikings are somewhat exposed, but they can maybe get the Colossus in time. Yeah, 2 more volleys. And the Colossus does go down. No more Colossus. Zealots do get into the natural, getting more SCV kills. The main army is busy. Zealots get into the main. And we get into the main base. Trigger going further in. Gets 2 Liberators. Oh, it's a one-way trip. Yeah, it's one way. Trigger, has he ever extended? He's going to get surrounded. Pushing further in. Yeah, losing his Archons, losing his Zealots. Tries to escape. Oh, he's still pulling him apart. Yeah, it's still worth it. Still getting more SCV kills. And you can see the aggression just doesn't end. It just does not end. It probably should for a moment. If it Trigger, I don't know if he can break the planetary. Oh, Colossus within range of the turrets. It's within range, takes a lot of damage. But the planetary does go down. Massive pickoff. And he's done a GG, gets called. He breaks the planetary, he breaks Percival, and Trigger, he will take the series 3-0. Becoming this week's Sparkling Tuna Cup champion. GG. Whew. GG, well played. And Percival, he does join one of the many players that has struggled, has attempted and failed to defend on the Old Republic. As we mentioned, it is so difficult to defend on this map, to defend specifically your 4th base. Percival, he fought hard for it. He was keeping up for the most part, but you saw he was just pulled apart between his 3rd base, his natural, and his center 4th base. In the end, he was broken. GG, well played. Congratulations to Trigger for becoming our champion. GG, well played. Congratulations. GG, congratulations. Again, shout out to Trigger. I know he's streaming his POV. And of all players here, a lot of hype was surrounding Classic, but Classic, he got knocked down early. Instead, we had Trigger popping off. We had Trigger instead excelling here in the bracket. Exclamation mark. Be in the chat if you want to have a look at the bracket yourselves. As you can see here, we had Percival. He had a crazy performance here, taking down Cristiano, taking down Classic, but did fall in the finals. Trigger, of course, he is the best player from the Americas region. He's one of the best Protoss players in the world. Did stumble against Nickrack. Nickrack is a hyper-aggressive Terran player, and Nickrack's best matchup is TVP. That is where Nickrack does excel most. That's where he pops off. I mean, he even beat Clem recently, if you recall. So Nickrack, he can pop off. He is an animal in that matchup. Did take a map off of Trigger, and the only player to take a map off of Trigger as well. True. Esther Nickrack. So he can walk away with his head held high, is what I should say. So shout out to Nickrack, of course, being the only player to take a map. Meanwhile, Skillus, he did have a chaotic PvP against Trigger earlier, and then of course Trigger claiming the series here in the end. It was still very intense, still very back and forth. I will say that Percival did hold his own. I will say that this series wasn't really reflective of the skill level of Percival, as again, it was still a very intense series. Winding it back, for example, referring to here on the Old Republic, Percival, he was hyper aggressive on 2 bases, and he barely didn't break the 3rd base of Trigger. Bearing in mind that Percival, he lost a lot of momentum after his all-in failed. Remember, he went for a 2-on-1 early sim timing, and he failed to break the 3rd base. Trigger, he did buy enough time. He was able to force the early siege, pick away at the Marines, snipe the Cyclone, and buy enough time for charge. That was a big moment where he bought enough time for charge, then bam, he could hold on, he shut down the tanks, and from there Trigger gained map control, and we spoke about it. Whoever has map control, they typically win on the Old Republic. Like, it's like map control is so crucial in the Old Republic, and with that, Trigger did snowball from there. Previously, before that, if you recall, we did have game 2 on White Rabbit, where we also saw a really clutch defense out of Trigger, where Percival had momentum. He killed 9 probes. He killed 9 probes at the start of the game. Percival, he moved that across the map, and he was also intending to kill, and he barely didn't kill Trigger. If you remember, Trigger, he had the shield battery. The shield battery barely kept the Colossus alive at his 3rd base. He was able to recall and respond from his main base as well. He barely defended his main, even though I thought the Colossus would go down there as well. It was a very, very close defense, and Trigger barely held on to White Rabbit, and then snowballed from there. GG well played. It was both game 2 and game 3 where Trigger, he barely pulled off the defense and then just snowballed out of control. Shout out to Percival, of course, for fighting his heart out. GG well played, and also for winning the random raffle as well. True. Did win that random raffle. But otherwise, thanks for watching. Thanks for tuning in. We do appreciate the support. And again, big shout out to Trigger. I know he's streaming at the moment, and you know what? We'll give him a raid. We'll give him some love. Never mind. God damn it. I was gonna raid Trigger, but Trigger, he just turned off the stream. Shaking my head. So Trigger, he just went offline. Otherwise, I would have given him some love. But you know what? Regardless, if you're in the chats, hold on. There you go. That's the link to Trigger's Twitch channel. Unfortunately, he only sometimes plays StarCraft. He's often playing Osu. Este Trigger. It's like, but regardless, support him over on Twitch. Do check out his channel. He was streaming his PvP. Otherwise, thanks for watching. Thanks for tuning in. And again, if you want to support the Cranky Ducklings, if you want to support this tournament, this is a weekly tournament, and we've been running this weekly for many years, more than the WarDCB Monday or Pegasus Cup or the Monday Night Weekly as well. Again, this is the 114th edition of this tournament. That's crazy. Oh my god. I think unironically, we are the longest standing Open Cup. I have to specify Open Cup because I believe the Legacy Weekly Japan has been running a lot longer, of course. Legacy Weekly Japan is a regional Japanese weekly tournament, as opposed to this one, which is open to all players. So again, this is the longest standing Open Cup out there. The only others that could rival would have been like the EPT Open Cups back when they were around, but they did fall by the wayside. Like Go for SC2 isn't around anymore. Zotac Cups, Lei Feng, Olima League, they've all fallen by the wayside. But Sparkling Tuna Cup has been around since forever, yeah, at least compared to all these other Open Cups. So if you want to support us, you can do so via Patreon, !Patreon in the chat. You can support us over on the Patreon page. That does help us fund tournaments, fund our events, and of course boost the prize pool even further to have a bigger prize pool and have a monthly tournament as well on a regular basis. You can help us reach that goal via Patreon. So thank you so much, all of our supporters on Patreon. Thank you so much. If you become a patron, you don't just support the event, but you can also gain benefits like replay packs. We do give out replay packs on a regular basis. I did see that someone earlier was asking about Christiana versus Percival and Classic versus Percival. Those replays are available if you wish. They're going to be available to our subscribers and our patrons, and we also give out replay packs from other events that we have permission to share, like StarCraft Evolution League, for example, like Pegasus Cup, like Hatchery Cup, and a lot of other open tournaments. There are some events that we don't have permission, like the WarDCB Monday, we don't have permission to share that, or like KSL, we don't have permission to share that either, but for the most part, we do share those replays. OSC events, we do share those. We do share like OSC King of the Hill replays, for example. So plenty of replays are available if you're interested. Otherwise, thank you so much for watching. Thank you for tuning in. You can also support us by following us on all the socials. !Socials in the chat. We have our Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and Discord. All things Cranky Ducklings. We're all over the place, so you can follow us there. We do stream on YouTube at the same time, and we also upload on YouTube on a daily basis as well. So plenty of content on YouTube. When it comes to our weekly schedule, bam, that's Percival winning the random raffle. True. Did win the random raffle. But when it comes to our weekly schedule, you can see our next broadcast is going to be tomorrow evening. WarDCB Monday. That is going to be tomorrow evening, as you can see here on the schedule. We also have StarCraft Evolution League on Tuesday. We have Pegasus Cup on Wednesday. We have a TTT Turtle Tussle on Thursday, the Pondcast on Thursday, and we have the RSL offline finals over the weekend. Now, as you can see here, it's scribbled on. That's like tentative. What I mean by that, the RSL finals are over the weekend, but I don't know if we have permission to co-stream. So we're gonna have to find out. We have to find out if we can co-stream. If we can, we will. If not, we won't. That's. And if we won't, we'll try to organize something else. I think we have some other replays and other events that we can cover over the weekend. But that's RSL. That's RSL on Saturday and Sunday. Two-day event for RSL. And again, we might cover it here on the channel. Depends if we get permission. Does depend. But that's our schedule. That's the schedule. The cup's been running so long that it's flowing over. Oh, does someone turn off the tap button? Turn it off. But thank you, Oguya. Thank you. Shout out to Selensvard as well. Easy fill in the chats. Gracias. But otherwise, thanks for watching. And stick around. We're going to be giving another StarCraft streamer a raid. I don't know who. I was going to raid Trigger, but we'll find someone else. Give him some love. Give him some support. Otherwise, we'll see you guys next time we'll see you tomorrow for the Wardy TV Monday. See you tomorrow. Until then, hasta luego. Ciao. Bye. Ciao. Hasta luego.